Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 225. Let's see what we see. Let's see what we see. And so interesting. I mean, it's a super good Zed. This is about as good as a Zed you can expect. I'm a super huge fan of Young Witch. She's fantastic in the elusives decks. Like even just looking at this curve here, if we play Inspired Mentor to boost something up, and then have Young Witch on 2, Zed on 3, and then we attack with everything. Then the Young Witch giving quick attack to the Inspired Mentor is just a huge chunk of damage that's almost impossible for your opponent to block. And so, pretty interesting things here. I'm kind of interested in picking up the Discipline pile, but perhaps it's like one of these things where it's like perhaps we should just draft Zoe. She's the one that we've certainly drafted the least here, and this is a pretty good Victor as well. But I feel like out of like the last 10 trials, we've probably drafted Victor like 4 times, and so he's certainly the most drafted of the new champions we've done, and so. Yeah, I'm just gonna take this. I don't know, man. This Zed isn't very inspired, but as much as the inspiring mentor is, the Zed isn't that. There's nothing like new and interesting coming out of this. I don't even know what the new Ionia cards are. Oh, it's that the landmark and then like one other thing. All right, so let's take the Zed and see if anything comes of it. See if we can't get the landmarks together or anything. Okay, I do always love a fishbones. It's just one of my most favorite card pools. I don't like Professor Von Yip as much as I used to, but the Jagged Taskmaster is just a absolutely fantastic unit. But I think just to stay on track and on theme with what we're trying to pull off here. Oh, I'll pull it up on the site as well. But I'm going to take this Collective Support Lulu. So let me take a moment. We'll pull it up real quick. If you're not familiar with the site that I almost forgot about, it's ftpbus.com. We're over here in the Expedition Helper section. And then first off, let's just scroll down to Zed. That can kind of speak to why I wanted to take take the Lulu when we grabbed the Zed here. And kind of the big reason just being Kinku Wayfinder. And so if we're able to get a big chunk of the One Drops Matters themes going, or although I should just say if we get a big chunk of the 1-cost cards, plays extremely well with the Kinku Wayfinder. And then what, as a whole, what tends to happen with this deck is it turns into being an elusives deck. Then whichever elusives deck depends on what cards show up. And so I tend to prefer the more aggressive one, and that's what we've found here and what we're probably going to be pursuing, where we try to start with this early curve of Inspired Mentor, the big important unit being Greenglade Duo. And then following up on turn 3 with Zed. We can also slot in Young Witches in here. This Young Witch will be kind of pivotal in what we're trying to do. And will be one of the key units, especially if we're able, since we're going to, well, not if we're able to pair up with Lulu, we're going to be paired up with Lulu, but she lets us attack with our other, our support units. And so if we want to be attacking with like the support squirrel, it's just going to get in combat and trade with the 2-drop, but Young Witch lets it have quick attack and survive. And so we will be pursuing this this aggressive elusives deck. The other deck that I wanted to stop and try to mention was the Jeweled Protector style elusives, where we're going to be playing a little bit slower. If we need to stall out the game with a who's it called, a Kinku Lifeblade, then we can. These are especially tough to race or attack through if they have the +3/+3 from Jeweled Protector. But you're looking to just play a much slower game. Perhaps play Protector and get a block, and then return it with Navori Conspirator and play it again. Just a lot of a lot of stats to be delivered around if you can buy the time to get that far in the game. And so we'll see. The Monastery was the new card out of the new set. Maybe if we keep our deck like really cheap, I kind of have some ideas as to how we can use this. I don't think this is going to be particularly good. I think it's just too slow to be adding a Monastery and then trying to replay Greenglade Elders and who's he called? Inspired Mentors. But we'll see how this comes about. And so that's at least Discipline Zed. We're about to take this Lulu out of Collective Support. And just the big thing coming out of this one is we're planning on picking up more Young Witches. We do notice that the Monastery lives here as well. So if we see it, perhaps we'll draft it and see if we can't do anything cute with it. But just the big thing we're looking out of this is the 1-drop in Flower Child and the 2-drop in Young Witch. Otherwise, I kind of feel like we're probably just going to be heavily focused on a super early game curve and taking advantage of Zed. So we'll see how this plays out. I don't think this is too far off from starting as just a absolutely spectacular deck. But let's see how these play out. So with this one, I do want to take the Whimsy and the Usari. I do want at least one Whimsy in this deck, and then Usari is kind of how we close out games. Whether or not we're using Young Witch to give Usari quick attack and just clubbing down whatever our opponent's best unit is, or if we're just pushing through that last bit of elusive damage, we are going to want like two of these. This is our preferred top end. So it's a fairly easy pickup here. The only thing that kind of worries me about that is we were starting with the Collective Support set of cards, and we weren't starting with the Discipline set of cards. So we might run into some issues trying to find all of the elusives that we want, but it's not a huge worry at this stage. So with this, I want the 1-drop in Flower Child plus Whimsy. This is just one of the premier 1-drops in the game. I don't want more than 2 Whimsies. We'll see how this plays out, but we certainly don't want 3 of these. Okay, perfect. Here's everything we're looking for. The Blade Scout, just the elusive, as we'd kind of hinted to about this Inspired Mentor into Young Witch curve. The Navori Blade Scout plays fantastically to that end as well. Okay, the Young Witches keep coming with the Twin Disciplines. Just Ionia's only 3-cost combat trick that's worth anything. Well, I guess we should say Rush is good, but this is the combat trick du jour here, if you will. And with these, this is our last opportunity to say like branch out into Targon. Not super interested in doing that. I'm happy with how this deck's coming together. I really want to be seeing these collective support and discipline packs. Hopefully seeing 3 Ionia packs across the board. We should hopefully be able to find some Green Glade duos, and I'm just real happy with how this is panning out. Okay, which one is Go Get It? I have to stop and read these every once in a while. Recall an ally, summon a copy, and then put the cheap one in your hand. I'm not super interested in that. It does play well with so like the Jeweled Protector kind of thing, but I don't think that's what we're really going to be going for here. I really just want these 1-drops. So hopefully picking up some of these 1-drops will also find, what's it called, Kinku Lifeblade. So this one's kind of interesting. I'm not like super interested in the Empyrean. When it comes to these expensive elusives, I mean, you don't really get to pick and choose exactly what you want, but this is not as good as Windfarer Hatchling. Windfarer Hatchling just immediately comes down and closes out games, and the Empyrean does not do that. And so not like super excited to pick it up. I am kind of interested in this Sonic Wave, since we do already have 3 Young Witches, and we're going to be kind of lacking ways to interact with our opponents, and then we could always just close out a game with Dragon's Rage. So I'm going to go for the spells down here, because this interaction is pretty hard for our deck to find. Okay, alright, these picks are garbage. So I'm going to take the Tasty Feyfolk here. The Highwayman is also garbage. Concussive Palm Key Guardian don't really play well to our themes. And so hopefully with the picks, we can just trade it away soon, or we find some of the Kinku, whatever he is, the Allegiance Kinku, or we can at least Young Witch this out in the early game. This picks just doesn't do enough to be particularly interesting. Oh, and perfect. Just all of the top end that we're looking for here with the Windfarer Hatchling plus Usari. This really just seals up all of the top end that we're looking for. Perfect. Okay, we've got our first Green Glade duo. It's extremely tough to pass up at this point. We're pretty good with combat tricks. We probably won't have the mana to play them anyways, and we're kind of paired up with Young Witch, and so going out of our way to get Twin Disciplines isn't a huge deal. Fey Guide does play well with Zed. It does play well with things like Lulu and Support Squirrel, but it's not something we need to go out of our way to find. I would be more interested in the Jeweled Protector Spirit's Refuge, but here the Green Glade duo is exactly who we're looking for. Okay, well, I think here I do want the Concussive Palm. We do have to have like some amount of interaction in our deck, and so I'm okay with the Palm. It seems better than a Blade Scout here. Oh, come on, bud. Come on, bud. Yeah. Sorry, this is you have to pause for your kitty every once in a while. And with this one, I do want Homecoming. I'm not 100% certain whether I'd rather have Homecoming or Will of Ionia in just kind of the general sense. In this deck, I can get an argument for Homecoming because we do have 3 Navori Blade Scouts, and it can kind of just give us a way to re-elusive this in the late game. But I think probably like 80% of the time we'd rather just have Will of Ionia in this style of deck. If we were playing more of the Jeweled Protectory style of deck, then we might prefer to have Homecoming. But here, we can't pick and choose which one we're going to get at pick 13, and so we're taking the Young Witch with the Homecoming. Okay, well, the Monastery's here. I at least want to try it. I have a feeling this is just going to be horrible in this deck, but we do at least have a handful of combos with it. And the Inspired Mentors, we can replay some Blade Scouts. If we had Sparring Students, it would be kind of moderately interesting. Maybe we can recall Concussive Palms. I mean, there's some things we can do. None of these things are particularly interesting. I really just don't want this. And so, let's just see if, I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be pleasantly surprised with this. What could we ever pick up that we want this for? Maybe we could try to find one Jeweled Protector, which isn't out of the realm of possibility. Just like we really needed kind of like Inspired Mentors and Sparring Students. Let's I don't even really want to give it a go. I can just already foresee that this is going to be horrible. But I don't know. It's a new card and we haven't tried it yet. So let's at least try it. Just swap it out for Fey Guide. I wouldn't be too upset to do that. But with these, I'm good to get this Navori Highwayman out of our deck. It's just garbage. 3 Usaris is a little bit many, but I'd rather just never have to draw this Highwayman. It's such a bad card. So let's pick up the last one. But that really is kind of like the only like unplayable, I should say, left in our deck. I think Pix is pretty unplayable as well. But we still have some like themes that haven't shown up that I'm kind of hoping that we can use with this Pix. That'll be it. If we ever find the the Kinku Wayfinder, then we have more uses for the Monastery, and so that could be interesting. But I do just want to get rid of this this thing. Oh, and we I almost forgot again. Let's see. We gotta go and make one of our shiny cards. Well, I think this would be a good opportunity for Young Witch. I think she's going to be the key to a lot of our deck here. So let's see here. Let's go into cards. Young Witch. Cool. Didn't even have to craft it. Nice. Okay. All right. We're ready for battle now. Okay. So yeah, this came together pretty well. It's fairly uninspired, which is a little sad, but I think the Monastery was kind of our really only choice here. But from those opening picks, it's like, I mean, I probably should have just ran with Zoe, but I feel like I kind of understand where Zoe's good, and I don't think she's a very like first pickable champion. I think you really have to be falling into like a plunder strategy if you want to be playing with Zoe. It's just it doesn't feel like the cheap invoke cards exist yet, and she needs like another set or two before she can really just be kind of unleashed on her own without like a backup plan. Like she's just the kind of like supporting strategy now, and the build around strategy doesn't really exist. But reasonable start. I'm not like super stoked about starting with picks, but the picking up Young Witch makes up for it.
My future is glorious.
May even be able to attack next turn. Like if he, I want to take this so we can attack, because if his like ideal play would be Ballistic Bot, and I don't think there's any way he can actually add a created card here. So let's just chunk in a big boost of damage here. Okay, and then if we get some kind of trick, if he was being cute here, and we get some kind of trick out of our picks, then I'm okay with that. Sure. Oh, the Twin Disciplines. They just don't really play into our curve super well.
Something a good giggle
We'll
can't
be
fix.
flipping our Lulu on this next attack.
A little luck for those who need it.
When crime calls, a reply is proper.
Right.
Ooh, I love flying vegetables. They're fast and great for tummy rumbles.
Okay, peddler, sure. So our Lulu should be safe here.
And let's 1 part sandalwood and 1 part picks. That's it! Go picks! Go picks! Go picks!
Go, Pix, go! Cool. Seems good.
Protector, shield me!
We should be able to come back into our next attack with some spell mana, have everything protected. All seems pretty reasonable here. Weird seeing Puffcat Peddlers come out of here.
Nice. There they go.
Pretty reasonable turn. Sure. Not super worried about these Puffcaps. He's nowhere near threatening real damage with those. So let's go ahead and barrier up our Lulu. Boost our only unit. Maybe we'll get a chance to play a spell. Maybe we won't. I can't imagine he attacks into our Lulu here. Seems a pretty good turn for us.
No stone unturned.
He is bringing the thunder, huh? Okay, well, we're blocking 100% of the time with this. Kind of willing to just burn a Twin Disciplines here.
How did that move
Keep
go?
our unit protected so we get like the full value out of our supports. Seems fine.
Oh,
A good hook onto Gearhead now.
now I pack a punch.
Sure. Seems a little spewy on those Puffcaps, but I don't think we need to add Young Witch. She doesn't add a whole lot of value here.
Get him, Pix!
I want to hook this thing. Then our attack needs to look something like this. We need Young Witch boosting Lulu, boosting Pix, boosting this thing.
For
I want
two.
to hook you with Lulu because she's going to have quick attack. Okay.
Shoot, fine!
Evolve me.
Sweet. Now we're in a pretty good spot to just kill him with Windfarer Hatchling next turn. Just dragon kick him. I mean, that seems legitimate as well. Cool. Easy peasy. Didn't even need Zed.
Okay, bye!
And that's what we'll be taking here. This is 100% going to be a Zed deck. Okay, it's got our fifth. This is our 5th Young Witch. Not a bad number. But with the Jeweled Protector as well. It's I don't like really foresee many of these games coming to the Monastery, but it's good to have at least some value things we can do with that. Maybe we'll draw it and get a chance to play it and see how it goes. I'm still not real sold on it being any good, but it's our chance. We were pleasantly surprised with Hexcore Foundry in the previous run. Very, very easy run with Teemo. So maybe the Monastery will come down and we'll be stoked. Okay, Zoe Riven. So I don't think we can keep picks. We need to search for something. I'm even kind of okay with getting rid of Blade Scouts, but with 5 Young Witches, I think we can hang on to a 1-drop.
Shh, quietly. Down from the trees.
See, this is kind of the big Young Witch draw I'm talking about. We mentioned it with Inspired Mentor, but we get this kind of guaranteed 2 damage in with the Blade Scout. We can actually just block with it here if we want. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if he just like doesn't attack if we add Young Witch, because that's not what we want. We want him to be attacking. We want to make this trade because we want to be forcing Zed through. So if he offers it up, we'll take it. Sure.
I am the blade.
It's okay if we get Mystic Shot.
The past is a burden we must learn to bear.
That's annoying, Riven. Sure. One deck Death Ray is good against. in my experience, the Death Ray is not a particularly good card, but this is still fine. Interesting. I don't. Well, I guess we have to see if he spends like 3 mana, but it's very easy for him to have drawn Death Ray here, and so I want to keep this Twin Disciplines to protect our Zed. Okay.
They picked the wrong row?
I mean, kind of sucks. I would prefer to have gotten a Young Witch down so we could use Yusari with it, but I think our Zed is too important here.
Off we go! Slow down!
Probably just get to attacking now.
Come on, Riv!
We've got some time. This is the kind of game where the Monastery seems at least kind of interesting. Not so much with just the Blade Scouts, but at least, you know, it would be a potential source of value here. I have to say, at least I wouldn't hate it this game.
Spurn my gift.
See if he's gonna drop another spell on us.
I am the shadow.
Okay, then there's no reason to add a unit. Let's just keep our mana banked up for Twin Disciplines. Got 2 sword pieces here. Okay,
Fly to them on broken wings!
sure.
Master Zed will be
Okay,
pleased.
so I think we can get in a
Look
pretty
what
big
you've
turn next turn.
become.
Even if things with the Zed don't go as intended, as it stands, if we're able to just come in and hook Riven with Yusari, then all of our attacks are good. We didn't. No, yeah, we didn't need to do that. I thought he had permanent health for some reason. And I don't think I want to like super count on things with the Zed just
There's
going
always
right.
a way out.
So I'm gonna add just add to the board here. Can't quite elusive killing this turn. We could add Young Witch and we can get rid of this. Can we? We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We get it for 12.
The power of our order.
We made it, Riv! I want to go home! This way! Go!
Fear the dark. This one is mine.
Do not deny me.
Need the space for our living shadow so we can keep the Blade Scout behind. That seems fine to me. So he's gonna just like have to kill us with Riven Sword. So I mean, it's possible. He can Big Sword Riven, but she'll only be, well, he hasn't played +2 yet, I don't think, which is kind of scary, right? He's played Quick Attack and he's played Overwhelm, so he's gonna pick up the +2, so that would make her a 5, and then +4 would make her a 9. I think we're safe. It would have felt a lot better if we drew a Homecoming or Dragon's Rage or something here, but
I won't look back.
just put put 3 health in front of her and hope for the best.
Now I pack a punch.
Guess we should at least put 5 health in front of her.
Don't mind if I do. See? This is progress.
Okay.
The cost of war.
How much do we even have to care about this? I really just want to be like throwing Zed in front of these things. Right, so what if we do this?
Punish restraint.
Then what's our next smallest ones? Young Witches?
Why, hello there.
What's this leave us with? 4, 8, on 10 elusive?
You like frogs, huh?
So we could pull this back and just fall to 1, which feels a little greedy against a P and Z deck. Especially if I think, you know, we can, at least from this point, we can get hit by a weapon hilt and not die. I think the big question comes down, do we actually just want to play units next turn? And I think we do. We can deal, like, if he gives himself an elusive, we can deal with it. Oh, we picked up a... You can play all this, right? 8 mana? Yeah. And so at least this way, if he, you know, plays counterfeit copies or whatever, make an elusive is, we could still hook it with Usari, and then if he has a
Quietly.
a removal spell, then we should still be okay.
Off we go! Low down!
Cool. That looked like the wrong color of Swirly. I wasn't sure if we won that game, even though it said he surrendered. Okay. This kind of sucks. I don't want picks, but I don't want a third Whimsy either, so I think I'm going to hang on to it. The Tasty Fey Folks can be pretty good here. If we ever get into a situation where we're racing, and especially having 5 Young Witches, just having a 5 attack, quick attack, lifesteal unit is pretty powerful. I think I would rather have 1 Fey Folk as opposed to having 3 Inspired Mentors, so we can hang on to it. The Homecoming is kind of interesting, but we already have like 3 of this effect, and so, right, we have 1 Concussive Palm, we have 1 Homecoming, we have 1 Dragon's Rage, and then we have 2 Whimsies. I don't think we need to pick up any more of these. So let's hang on to our elusive and just skip all of these. Ooh. Let's see. All right, there's no Demacia with that Thresh, so we shouldn't have to, well, we shouldn't have to, we don't have to worry about the Grand Plaza showing up. So, alright, starting with Zed. I'm curious if we want to do something with picks. I don't think so. Right, giving Zed +2 attack isn't the end of the world. That's a reasonable start. We just want to full aggro with these Blade Scouts. There's the big thing is I want to have 3 mana banked when we play our Zed, in case he tries to hit him with a
Quietly.
what's it called, a Grasp of the Undying. Okay.
My blood. They'll never see me coming. Catch me if you can.
Probably just not playing anything here. Oh, we can still add Zed. He can't kill him with what he has on board.
I am the blade in the darkness.
We want to. I've been like liking the idea of this play more and more and more and more.
Looking
I
for
think I'm fine to take the 1. Let's get this stupid thing out of here. Wouldn't be surprised to see him have a vile feast. Let's be unsure. It's the thing that's kind of like running through my mind is like, should we have blocked this spiderling? And that feels just like a little greedy.
Follow the wrong master.
Right, but it was going to give us a very good attack right here. He either just has to throw away his abomination or let our Zed flip. It's surprising. Wow. So this is going to be a black spear? Well, if he had black spear, why?
Oh, yes. She does obviously.
Oh, I don't get that.
Whoa, don't eat that!
Beauty and life.
Yeah, let's get aggressive on this Taric. We'll just shut him down from attacking. I don't really want to see him playing like a Pale Cascade here. Card advantage like shouldn't super matter here this game, but let's at least just go ahead and deal with that thing.
She'll be right out.
Your attack is obvious.
Still, again, I'm pretty happy to just deal with these get these things on board. I wish we could take down this onlooker. I don't really think this is worth a Shadow Shift, because I do want to add Yusari next turn to hook in this Taric and then still have a Twin Disciplines. I think we're probably pretty safe to just take the 4 damage. There's the Pale Cascade. Sure. All the cards. Okay. All right, Pix, you're gonna get thrown away for the greater good here. Sorry. She may survive. I mean, I'm okay with throwing Yusari, just straight up trading it for Taric. And what happens if, say, we just make Big Zed? You can block with like these 2, pick up 3 spell mana, put this in front of Pix.
My training is nearly complete.
An apt pupil.
I think we just have to do it so he can't just kill our Zed with Tortured Prodigy. So I'm okay with this.
Destiny awaits.
Oh, not you. Pix. Zed.
Only the worthy survive. Shadows cut
If
deep as any.
he tries to get overly cute, we can technically Twin Disciplines our Pix.
I want to go home.
Like if he was going to put 4/3 in front of her. Interesting. He's keeping these units behind. It's very strange that he wouldn't just try to take a value block onto Pix.
Enter, traveler, and stop staring.
Bring me tea to gain the strength of rivers.
Okay, like we've fallen kind of far behind.
Celestial power.
Because the thing that sucks here is we don't have an answer to these 4 health units. But I guess we can just at least put damage on this, and then he can't get value blocks onto Zed. So I mean, this is good.
Oh, he likes you.
What do you think about just like shadow shifting something here, like shadow shifting back a Blade Scout?
This one's
I'm
trouble.
okay with that. Or would we rather bring back the Mentor?
isn't part of the
I think
training.
Blade Scout's okay. all the cards. Sure. Still feels like I want to hang on to this Twin Disciplines. I'm still happy with how this turn's panned out, even though he just spewed out a bunch of cards that makes this bad for us. We can keep getting his board worn down with Zeds, that would be good.
Shh, quietly.
Got to chunk in some kind of damage here. With him having 5 cards in hand and a fairly wide board, can't really threaten a whole lot with just Zed. We're gonna have to attack with picks. That's fine. But let's at least chunk in this elusive damage.
Invisible to the ignorant.
Weird combination of the have-it-alls. Okay, I don't see a reason to add the conspirator anymore.
Hide no longer.
You know, like, at what point do we just give up on... He has to have, like, if he's had a removal spell, he would have just already played it, right? Instead of letting us get, like, a 5-for-1 with the Zed. Here, it's like, here it comes, he's gonna do it now, but... I think that seems like a reasonable assessment. Super far behind here. Yeah. Don't think we have an answer to this one. Well, Jeweled Protector is about as good as we could have hoped for. We're done with the Zed plan. We're never winning with Zed. He's gonna get a thresh hook onto him. Yeah, we could have gone the other way with that, but that'd have been better if we just played Conspirator first, returned Zed, then Jeweled Protector our Zed. I just felt like we're in a spot to where he can play blockers every turn and not care about it. We need to be winning with the Conspirator. Let's get him down. Just try to get more stats. Go toe-to-toe with this dude's board. This is 100% hooking here. Perfect. This would have actually been a disaster if he'd hooked our Conspirator.
You call that sneaky?
I don't know if we can actually race through this collector, but I like the opportunity we've given ourselves here. If we can, it's like spike another elusive right here, and we can chunk in a big piece of damage. Ideal. How does this next turn go? We're gonna have to add Jeweled Protector to the board.
Walk softly, strike quickly.
Think. Let's see if he just spends like a big chunk of mana on something he doesn't need here, and then we can like dragon kick something back. But we're definitely in a winnable spot if we can survive his next turn and kill him with elusives. This is why I didn't want Zed here. Zed is not doing anything against this board.
Everyone's a garden.
We have to play a blocker in case he just passes here. Jet. Okay. Alright, we can't survive enough of this. Just give it up. A little short. We just needed like a little bit of chunk damage in the early game. Awkward. Anywho, So let's see. We've decided we're not getting rid of the monastery. I still want to keep our one tasty faithfolk. Here's a chance to get rid of Pix. I'm not like excited about fuzzy caretakers, but Pix is just horrible. I am happy just to move away from her. Okay. Come on, Zed. You gotta carry us to victory. That's one of the strengths of Zed. He ran into a lot of 4 health units that game, which is not too common. But he's usually good for 2 or 3 wins on his own, and then just as a straight hard carry, and then kind of pivotal and just winning throughout some other games in the trial. But I think we're good with 1 young witch. 5 of these is a little too many. These can be a touch awkward if your draw doesn't come together quite right. But right, because these aren't super good at multiples. The first one's super good. The second one's it's okay, but it's certainly not mind blowing. So.
There's always fighting 8 punch Pablo.
Okay. I'll let him get the hook on this thing if that's the route he wants to take. And if it's not, then I'm fine to just add in the Conspirator plus Blade Scout again.
Shh, quietly. I know a way.
Okay. So we should be able to protect our Conspirator with a Whimsy and then add Young Witch. Like I don't know what else we're supposed to want to do with this kind of hand. This is pretty awkward without the units coming together. Let's see what he does.
Arrows at the ready.
Like, I mean, how much do we really want to invest in a Navori Blade Scout? Not. The answer is not a whole lot. And so we could technically just Whimsy our own unit to take down this Boxtopus. I don't think I'm quite ready to go that way. We'll let him just get the ace on our unit and then play Young Witch.
My pocket.
Carrots can fly, Rib! Okay! Ow!
Okay, something spicy. The spiciest.
Without a sound.
Another Marvolio miracle!
Uh-oh, no 4 health. No, he's got 4 health. Oh boy, Mechanized Mimic. It's going to pick up Overwhelm whenever it attacks. Okay, well, we still have at least good Zed attacks, so he's probably just going to take 4 and throw away a Magician, but at least his attack is legitimate now.
Oh no!
I never miss.
So probably just, if we can survive the next turn, probably be okay. This board isn't like super scary in relation to our life total, and so he's probably going to do something to hook Navori Conspirator. We can Homecoming this away if we want, but then are we able to like win the game from that point forward? I think realistically, how do we want to do this? He's going to hook Conspirator with Mechanized Mimic, then we play Homecoming onto Tusk Raider, then we're looking to take 8, 9, 10 and fall to 5. Then have to try to get a kill with Dragon's Kick eventually. Or, I mean, we can Twin Disciplines our elusives. I think that's probably about as good as it's going to get.
Unparalleled skill.
Captain's orders. Bullet to the face.
Alright, so we're going to take 6, 9, 10, fall to 5. I think I'm actually just going to replay Conspirator and return Zed. He's never winning this game here. We want to just replay this next turn so we can bank the mana to try to get a Dragon Kick. I don't super like it. I think we're just going to be all in on this Young Witch plus Twin Discipline, so let's go ahead and add.
Stay safe. I'll take it from here.
So, I mean, if he's got a Frostbite, then we're dead. How much more damage can we add here? That's another 4 damage. So it'll be 4, 5, 6. We're going to be like 1 short, probably. Still think we should probably add units. Let's see if we can't get him to spend some mana. I mean, it's ultimately like, you know, we're going to get aced by Brittle Steel if that's what it comes down to, but seeing him add Longtooth feels pretty good.
Off we go! Roll down!
Yeah, do something I approve of. Do spend all 5 mana right now on something that only kills 1 unit. Shatter. Okay. The big thing with him playing Shatter here is we have to play our Twin Disciplines before combat. We can't, you know, just react. If we hadn't played, like, you know, we had to add, I think we had to add Young Witch, but if we hadn't played it, and then, you know, say he played a Brittle Steel in mid-combat, then we could Twin Discipline something else, but now we just don't have that option. I have a bad feeling that we're just going to be 1 mana short this game. Or 1 damage short.
This way! Go!
Down from the trees!
Maybe not. Good deal. Sometimes you just gotta clench them butt cheeks and get the units in there. Nice. So where's our Zed at? With a Greenglade duo? Nice. We don't really... So the things we're looking to do here, like, we don't want picks. Be happy to, like, get rid of a Young Witch. And then down here, 4 Yusaris is going to be too many. We'd like to get down to probably about 2 or 3. But then, you know, there's not, like, a whole lot we can actually trade for other than wanting cheap units that combo with our Young Witches. I would like to have... like cheap challengers. I would kill to have some challenger birds in this deck just to have that 1-cost challenger to add on this 5 Young Witch deck. So sick. Get good, you're nothing. Come on, bro. That's what we're here for. We're helping people get good. Now, let's see. That's a fairly reasonable start. We can get rid of picks. It's kind of like chicken and egg with Sonic Wave. We really want the Young Witches to go with this, but no complaints with our hand so far. This is pretty powerful.
They picked the wrong row?
We should just go ahead and curve out. If we can't attack with this Blade Scout next turn, it's okay. And we should be... that kind of changes things. I don't really want to be attacking with picks until we have Lulu, though. So let's go ahead and get our Greenglade duo down.
That's my resting face.
Down from the trees!
Alright, we're just playing it all. Just get everything going right at the beginning. Oh, Young Witch, cool.
Tenacity through trial.
So let's add Lulu here. If she gets hit with a Sonic Wave, then that's, you know, unfortunate, but it's not like he's playing Lee Sin. He could add Challenger Bro, whatever Confront is.
Hardened
I think would be okay.
I've been waiting for this.
Whenever I talk about the support decks, this is kind of the opening your support decks are looking for. I think we're going to have to Sonic Wave into the Scales of the Dragon to protect our Lulu. But that's not the end of the world. So what if we say add picks? Because the thing I'm worried about here is we're going to Sonic Wave and then we have to Resonating Strike. We can't make a 5 health unit to send into Scales of the Dragon. So if we're only going to add, well, I guess we can Lulu Flower Child.
Go wake him up.
And then we don't have to Resonating Strike. Okay. I feel like we're going to get punished for doing it this way, but I guess it's not like the end of the world if our Sonic Wave fails.
I've got your back.
Yeah. So how do we change this now? I think we still just add Flower Child, but now we just switch. We're gonna hook, we're gonna Sonic Wave our Blade Scout, hook his Scales of the Dragon, and then we'll have to picks up Lulu. Be like this.
Faster. Slow down.
Catch me if you can.
Oh, don't get too close.
Okay, so now, like, you know, his likely combat trick, if he has Twin Disciplines, then okay, you did it. But likely Prismatic Barrier was going to be his trick here, being in the multiple Fiora deck. This is fine. I mean, losing Lulu isn't the end of the world. Got a big-ass chunk of damage to him. We have one elusive on board, 2 elusives in hand. So we should be in a pretty good spot.
The fate of mortals
could not care less
and
about Shen.
spirits falls to me.
Hurry, is that a
Let's just
familiar
start adding
frog?
these things.
Oh my
We
gosh.
got the Monastery. I mean, we can call it a combo with
Hurry, is that a familiar frog? Oh my gosh.
our Green Glade
Come
duo.
on, Rib.
You told me to say hello. Hello.
That should do it.
This way. Go. Let's move.
It's kind of scary attacking with this Pix. If he has the Barrier Lifesteal card.
Don't test me.
So how much of a problem is all this? This dude played a whole bunch of cards. So we're gonna be one short this way. Okay.
Hang on.
Gotta have this young witch come down next turn, or come through for the combat. As it stands, I mean, we're capable of doing that. Potentially huge draw. Yeah, we could have protected her with Homecoming
Enforced
anyways, but
equilibrium.
I would prefer to have it for next turn in case he tries to do something super tricky.
Ready for the fight.
Alright, recall you. Send. You want to do it that way, or do we want to send this stupid thing back? No, let's send Shen back.
Bye, Glow. Carrots can fly, Rib.
Try this again. I'm just going to Twin Disciplines our young witch. I'm not going to bother attacking with picks this time. I don't think. Well, okay. I don't think he's going to have the Barrier Lifesteal card very frequently. Like if he didn't have it last turn, then it's not super likely he has it here. And so I still think we should probably play around it. Pix doesn't really add anything to what we're doing. I think we'll be safe here. He's going to like Concussive Palm our Usari, and we can win with Young Witch. Cool. Cool. Always feels good winning those games without Zed. Sometimes it's just like, we played Zed, and it doesn't feel like you really deserved it. But it's good to see you can win without him. And here again, I don't want picks. Go ahead and get rid of her. I'm surprised with the amount of combats this thing's actually survived. Usually just gets, in these spots to where she can't attack. I guess, when you're like attacking with picks, and it kind of feels like there's a reason you're doing it more so than just giving a unit +2 attack for a turn. But I suspect the farther we get in the expeditions, the more people will just block it. Cool. I forgot Homecoming was the new card out of this set. I guess we have gotten all of the new Ionia cards in this run. Was it? It was a Cosmic Creation card, right? Homecoming wasn't a monument of power. Was it? Have to look it up. That is one of the things I wish. I wish there was some kind of like indicator which expansion cards came from. I guess it's not like super relevant all the time, especially if Riot is intending on making a standard type format where they only have the most two recent years of sets or however they would intend on doing it. But it would be nice if you could go and search for just monuments of power or search for cosmic creations. You can't do that right now. I suspect that will be the case forever. Just well, I guess it technically shouldn't be that hard for them to add in, but I suspect that'll be the case forever. Okay, more Riven. These are scary. He makes some easy work out of Zed. So I'm at least kind of glad that we have this 5 Young Witch deck against all the Rivens and all the Victors that are in this current format. Okay, and we're of course going to lead with Flower Child. Get these Young Witch boosts.
Is that a familiar frog? Oh my gosh! Go on, Rib.
You don't mean to say hello. Hello.
Oh, you stupid things. I ran into this dumbass in a long time. Oh, I hate these things.
I need just a moment.
Okay, I'm fine with this hooking whatever it sees fit. We have a backup Young Witch. I have to assume he's probably just going to hook Young Witch, just letting it go. It's bold.
Is that a familiar frog? Oh my gosh! Go on, Rib.
You don't mean to say hello. Hello.
Okay. Let's get Blade Scout going. I'm intending on hooking Trifarian Glory Seeker. Don't necessarily have to Resonating Strike. The thing that worries me here is if we're this is the way I'm going to do it, but like I want to do it like this hook. But if he has like Targon Shield, then we're gonna have to burn this Resonating Strike. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's kind of suck. It's like, do I want to get this extra point of damage in, or to play around Targon Shield, or do I want to try and get him to spend it while we have Resonating Strike? Then here I'm going to bank. We're getting this big elusive draw, and we're either able to drop Yusari, or we can do Jeweled Protector Conspirator. We're just going to start crashing through with elusives. I don't think he can kill us fast enough with Riven. But the perk of adding Jeweled Protector here is it does shut down this Riven attack. He wants to spew a bunch of sword parts on this, it's fine. He only has 2. He has the Reforged from last turn, and then the Riven generated one. You can see the Reforge in his hand. Oh, he's just going for it, huh? Okay.
I sense their power.
He did have all 3. Oh, man.
There is surrender and there is life. I will live.
Did he?
For the lost.
Okay, we'll take 8. So, like, what do we plan on doing here? We can't kill him fast enough, so I think we're probably going to have to play Usari and open attack on Riven, and then just kind of hope for the best.
The power of our order.
Right, we can at least get a big chunk damage in. If he plays like a Runeforger here, it's pretty unfortunate.
I write the
Yeah.
rules of power.
Right, 'cause it's going to give him a blocker on our Blade Scout. I was really just hoping to chunk in as much damage as we can. How do we feel about adding a... I think I like this. Let's add a Conspirator. Gonna bounce
Stay
you.
safe.
We're
I'll
just gonna
take it
come
from
in with
here.
as much elusive damage as we can. We're not gonna be close enough to lethal. It was 4, 6,
They picked the wrong
1, 2,
road.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, on 10, 14. Yeah.
Come on, Rib!
My final test.
Slow down!
Whatever his combat trick is here for Riven, I'm okay to just take it.
Your fate was written.
Yep. Messed this up, didn't he? Why was...
So close.
It is
Oh, he didn't play Riven Sword on her. Okay, that's why that seemed messed up. He just played all 3 cards and didn't actually play the sword. Okay.
Really just needed some tape to reassemble.
So as it stands, this is okay. I'm worried that we made a mistake in not adding Jolt Protector just to block his Riven. But it's tough for like Noxus, whatever this is, Targon, to really amp her up a little bit more. So hopefully we're okay here. Well, that's the way to do it.
Violence to end violence.
Still would have died. You can't whimsy champions. Okay. That's okay. We were too far away from lethal anyway, so I was happy to just try to take Riven down with the combat unit. Anywho, on to the next one. I think I am happy to trade out Conspirator for Sonic Wave, just another way for us to interact. Hanging on to one's Dragon's Rage is okay. I'd be willing to get rid of this, but I really want like a 1-drop or something and not Fuzzy Caretaker. And this doesn't feel like an upgrade. The Blade Scouts are pretty good in this deck. So, Sonic Wave it is. Everybody's got all these big champions today. This is not this is not ideal champion weather for Zed. Okay, we're on the evens. I think I'm cool to just keep the Green Glade duo. There's the Zed, perfect. And it just kind of is what it is. He's gonna have a hook kill on our Green Glade duo next turn. That's fine.
Hey, Krabby!
That's my resting face.
I wonder how much higher we should be valuing these inspired mentors and Zed decks in the current format, knowing that there's so many 4 health champions. It's kind of interesting. Okay, we'll bank if that's what it comes down to. We can't just take a challenger bird hit. Yeah, there it is. And have it take down our Zed. We're safe to go ahead and do this.
You'll thank me later.
Like, I mean, he's gonna hook kill our Green Glade duo, which is fine. But I want to at least present a blocker for this Fleet Feather Tracker. Okay. Interesting.
Get me a sweet bun. Heightens the senses.
So let's see. I mean, we're good to add Zed. We can Sonic Wave something if we
Without
want.
a sound.
Seems pretty good to me, though. I think I am going to go ahead and hook his Challenger bird. So let's do this. Give you Challenger.
Seize control.
Dudes are coming in. Hook bird. And this way, if he wants to keep our Zed from flipping, then he's going to have to give up his loyal Badger Bear. And we're ready for a combat trick should he have something. So I don't think our Zed survives too frequently here, but
I am the shadow.
he's most certainly going to have a challenger next turn.
I am the claim what is
But
ours.
you know, he can't just play like, you know, whatever the like the one cost make an expensive spell. Last Breath dude, Mage Seeker Conservator lives in here. Any of those Last Breath dudes can
Demacian needs heroes.
just go. They can go home. This is fine. We're just gonna have to try to kill him with these two Usaris. We're never gonna win combat here.
You'll pay.
And the thing that's ultimately pretty scary about this is Crumble. It's their only combat trick, and I've gotten moderately familiar with this this card pool. You have to worry about Crumble. This is good. We can go for the lethals and have a concussive palm for next turn.
We fight
He
for
just plays
those who
Garen.
cannot.
One with the shadows.
Oh god, it was a single combat? Yeah. Okay, we can still survive.
Stay resolute.
Not easily, not easily at all, but we can do it. Oh, picked up another one, so we can just play this next turn should we need to. Okay, okay. Ugh. We have to go ahead and do this. If he wants to make scout attacks, he has to do it with Quinn. We can't have him making a scout attack with another unit and then getting the Challenger bird on the backside.
They never stop.
I don't think we need to try to get together a Sonic Wave. How does this look now? This is going to hook probably... As it stands, we're just going to take 6. Guess this can represent a good block. We don't have to block with it.
I gotta get out of here.
Charge!
Just like hunting thresher geese.
This one will do.
Okay. Alright, you sorry. Let's see. Let's see if you can do it. No more single combats. Oh shit, we're just gonna be dead to his open attack, aren't we? Fuck. Damn it. Damn.
Quietly.
Maybe he won't do it.
We do what is
Yeah.
right.
Okay, well, that's too bad. That run was a little unfortunate. I feel like our deck was a lot better than the results actually showed there. But nonetheless, successful it was not. So yeah, let's get this pulled up here real quick. It's a kind of the big things I was wanting to do here is. See 1 second. Okay, I did have to go look up Homecoming. It is one of the new cards. And so, you know, I was not like really inspired by playing with the Zed, but we did get our chance to play Monastery of Hirana in the style of deck, and it seems terrible. We did have a game or two there where it was like potentially okay. If we were going to get into some kind of like slow grind, then it would have been reasonable. I think you really have to be like starting with this, and you have to have multiples if you want to be getting this kind of thing going. But you know, as we kind of said in the The set review on this is you have to have some kind of like good combo with it, probably a Yasuo or either, if not Yasuo, a Lee Sin. And so something that could just take advantage of playing these spells or getting these recalls every turn of the game. And this deck doesn't do it. I was pretty confident right from the start that playing the Monastery to have it bounce Inspired Mentor or to bounce like a Greenglade Elder, it just takes way too long for not enough value. And so I was glad to get some confirmation on the Monastery here, but I don't really like it in this style of deck. I think you need to be having Navori Wayfinders. That's really surprising at this that we didn't actually see any of those this run. That would have been super good in this deck. But you need to have a deck capable of using Navori Wayfinder or Kinku Wayfinder, not Navori, the one that puts the allegiance to put 1-drops into play, and then it needs to be able to take good advantage of Jeweled Protector. And this deck doesn't really do either, right? If we're playing Jeweled Protector twice, we're either winning on that immediately on that attack, or we've lost the game because it's gone too late. And kind of the same thing applies to Windfarer Hatchling. All these plays are just like way too slow to be to dealing with the Monastery. But for this deck in particular, this came together pretty well. We do have too many young witches, but beyond that, I think this came together pretty good. If we'd been able to continue on, I think this deck here was good enough to 7, and then we could have, if we could have traded out like 1 or 2 Usaris, like 1 young witch, maybe a Whimsy, just for some more early game plays. And maybe for like another Twin Disciplines or a Rush or something, I would have been pretty happy with this. And so, in general, when you're trying to put together these Zed decks, you're a curve deck. 100% of the time, you want to be playing 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and you ideally want a Greenglade Duo to be your 2. Young Witch is a passable replacement in these decks, and it's still pretty good. It's just not as quick as the Greenglade Duo is. Because as you can see for a lot of those games, it was just kind of like, well, we can attack with Zed and our opponent can block and we just can't get any damage in, to whereas you're almost always getting your damage in with your elusives. And so as far as the 2s go, I do prefer the Greenglade Duo. As far as the 1s go, I'm not like sure if I prefer Mentor more than Blade Scout, but these are both fine. These are the 2 big ones that you're looking for. Can't really count on Flower Child to be any good. And so yeah, I guess, at least to circle back to this, the big thing with these Zed style decks is right at the beginning, you need to be deciding if you're going to be the early game aggressive elusives. That's like what we are here. You're really going to be focusing on Blade Scout, Inspired Mentor, Greenglade Duo, Navori Conspirator, and then Zed. And then if you're going to be a more mid-rangey, kind of slower elusives deck to where you typically just like punch through with 2 attacks at the end of the game. So like in your early game, you're probably just banking spell mana. On turn 3, you're going to play Zed and start trying to abyss some units off of your opponent's board, but you're not necessarily trying to win with Zed damage. And then you're going to close out the game with that combo of like Jolt Protector, who's he called? Navori Conspirator into a second Jeweled Protector, and really just grind through with the stats. You need to decide early if you're in one of those 2 decks, or if you're in Shadows and Dust Zed, you could be the Sparring Student deck, which looks like the Greenglade Duo deck. But that is going to be your big determination early on as to whether or not you're going to be just super aggressive or you're going to be more grindy and slow. And if you're going to be grindy and slow, you are going to be looking for more of these Concussive Palms and Whimsies and Will of Ionias, just to kind of stall the game out until you can get your massive stats on board. But I think that's going to do it for this one. We did get our our first taste of Monastery of Hirana. Didn't really like it. We got, I don't think this was our first taste of Homecoming, but we would prefer it to be Will of Ionia in this deck. But we got to at least make some cute plays with it, and this one is ultimately just fine. And yeah, that's going to do it for our run. Let's see if there's any rewards to click on. Looks like there's something to claim. I can't believe if we're already done with the region road. Targon's Peak. We got to try you an expedition sometime. Are we already done? We're still grounding. We're getting there. But that's it. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Hope you enjoyed your trip to the Monastery of Hirana. You got some learning in. You had a good time watching. Thank everyone for being here. This is Bust.